15. Kakashi Hatake. Kakashi Hatake was feared across the ninja world as the copy ninja. 1,000 jutsu, a cold stare, and one hidden Sharingan. But among all his flashy techniques, there's one skill that quietly follows him. The sword White Fang. Kakashi isn't a true swordsman, but every time he draws his short blade, something shifts. His style becomes faster, sharper. He moves in close, using the blade for swift jabs and surprise counters. It's not elegant or ceremonial, it's tactical, an extension of his mind, not just his hand. He mainly uses a tanto, perfect for close-quarter duels or last-minute defense. His swordplay doesn't rely on complex stances or named techniques. Instead, it serves one purpose: support. Whether he's finishing an enemy or covering a retreat, the blade is there to fill in the gaps between his jutsu. In truth, Kakashi's sword skills are basic. He's not a swordmaster. His strength lies in versatility. One moment, he's slashing with his blade. The next, he's casting a lightning-style jutsu that turns the battlefield upside down. Every cut he makes, every strike he blocks, it's for his teammates. He's the type who'll lose an eye to protect a friend. And while his sword doesn't define him, it reflects him. Sharp, quiet, effective. 14. Suigetsu Hozuki. Now, here's a guy who lives for swords. Suigetsu Hozuki just wanted to collect every blade the hidden mist had to offer. A childhood dream, soaked in blood and ambition. Suigetsu's weapon of choice? The legendary Kubikiri Bocho, once wielded by Zabuza. A giant, brutal cleaver that feeds off blood to regenerate itself. Swinging it around like a toy, Suigetsu brings an unpredictable energy to every fight. His sword style is wild and aggressive. He slashes with brute force, but never loses control. Thanks to his Hozuki bloodline, Suigetsu can liquefy his body to dodge attacks or recover from lethal blows. This makes his approach unique. He can charge headfirst into danger, knowing his body can absorb the damage. His technique lacks polish. He doesn't use any named moves, no flashy styles. He's still raw, learning, growing. In battle, he relies more on strength and his liquid transformation than on refined swordplay. As part of Team Taka, Suigetsu plays a supporting role. He adds muscle and chaos, but never steals the spotlight. His contributions are more about potential than legacy. 13. Jinpachi Munashi. Meet Jinpachi Munashi, one of the 7 ninja swordsmen of the mist, and a man whose idea of swordplay involves detonations. Jinpachi wields Shibuki, the blast sword. It's a walking explosion. The blade is laced with explosive tags that detonate on contact, turning each swing into a death sentence for anyone nearby. His combat style is pure chaos. Instead of one clean strike, he unleashes waves of destruction. Each clash triggers a blast that sends shrapnel flying. It's messy, brutal, and hard to counter. He doesn't need elegance, he needs destruction. Among the swordsmen, Jinpachi stood out for his brutality. There's no grace in his technique, only efficiency. He mastered Shibuki's unpredictable nature and turned it into a reliable tool of terror. Few could match his control over the weapon's deadly timing, and yet everything we know about him comes from flashbacks. He lived during the bloodiest period in Mist Village history, when killing was part of training. His personality? Cold, violent. He fit perfectly into that world. He thrived in it. Sadly, his presence was brief, and his legacy is scattered across lore and filler. But make no mistake, he helped build the legend of the 7 swordsmen. 12. Jinin Akebino. When it comes to brute force, few can match the raw power of Jinin Akebino, a former member of the fearsome 7 ninja swordsmen of the mist. He didn't swing a sword for elegance or honor. He swung it to destroy. His weapon, Kabutawari, isn't a traditional blade. It's a bizarre combination of a hammer and an axe, chained together to deliver devastating blows. It wasn't made for finesse. It was made to break armor. Jinin's entire style revolves around smashing defenses and cutting down what's left. In battle, he would first use the hammer to create a crack in the enemy's guard, then follow up with a vicious axe strike through the weak point. It's a 2-step combo designed to obliterate, not impress. His technique isn't fast or flashy, but it's terrifyingly effective when it lands. Jinin had great mastery over Kabutawari. knowing exactly how to use its weight and rhythm to dominate close combat. However, his overall swordsmanship outside of that niche was limited. His personality reflects his fighting style, aggressive, ruthless, and always ready to kill. There's little depth shown in his character, but what we do know is clear. He lived for destruction. Jinin's presence in the series is brief, only appearing in flashbacks. Still, his role helped strengthen the dark legend of the Seven Swordsmen. He never had a legacy of his own, but he added to the fear that followed the group's name. 11. Ameyuri Ringo. Don't let the looks fool you. Ameyuri Ringo is as deadly as they come. One of the few female members of the Seven Swordsmen, she wielded the Kiba blades, twin swords that conduct lightning chakra with deadly precision. Ameyuri's combat style is fast, fluid, and merciless. She dances across the battlefield, weaving lightning into every movement. Her strikes are just quick and burn. With Kiba in her hands, she turned every fight into a storm. Kiba amplifies lightning techniques, allowing her to channel chakra into long-range lightning strikes. One of her most feared attacks is Thundergate, a move that rains electric death from afar. She didn't need to close in. Her blades reached farther than most could defend. Her control over lightning chakra was impressive. She could adjust power levels, redirect strikes mid-combat, and chain attacks with terrifying efficiency. Ameyuri was orchestrating destruction. She carried herself with pride. Though ruthless, there was a charm to her, the kind that made enemies hesitate just before the lightning struck. She enjoyed the thrill of battle and embraced her identity as a mist swordsman. Her strength, speed, and style made her one of the most memorable members of the Seven Swordsmen. She might not have a deep backstory, but she didn't need one. Her lightning did the talking. 10. Tenten. She's not a member of the Seven Swordsmen. She doesn't have a legendary blade. But Tenten, the silent specialist from the Leaf Village, earns her place on this list through skill, precision, and sheer variety. Tenten's weapon of choice? Everything. From swords and kunai to giant scrolls and sealing tools, she turns the battlefield into a storm of steel. Among her arsenal, she often pulls out multiple types of swords, summoning them from her scrolls to launch rapid attacks. Her swordsmanship isn't rooted in tradition. She doesn't follow forms or use named techniques. Instead, she combines swordplay with sealing jutsu, allowing her to summon, throw, and control blades mid-combat. It's creative, unpredictable, and highly technical. While she doesn't focus only on swords, her accuracy and coordination let her use them effectively in the heat of battle. She doesn't overpower her enemies, she outmaneuvers them. Her attacks come from all angles, making her hard to counter. Tenten is one of the most hardworking ninjas of her generation. She doesn't have a flashy bloodline or tailed beast inside her, but she trains constantly, pushes her limits, and never gives up. She may be overshadowed by her teammates, but her efforts never fade. Tenten often in the background, but she represents something important: discipline. She shows that even without legendary power, a ninja can stand tall through effort and skill. 9. Kushimaru Kuriarare. Few swordsmen are as disturbing as Kushimaru Kuriarare. As one of the 7 ninja swordsmen of the mist, he was an artist of agony. His weapon of choice? The terrifying Nuibari, a needle-like sword that turns battlefields into blood-stained canvases. Kushimaru's combat style is all about precision and sadism. He doesn't rely on brute strength or flashy techniques. Instead, he uses Nuibari to pierce through multiple enemies in a single throw, stitching them together like lifeless dolls. His technique immobilizes, humiliates, and ultimately ends. The Nuibari is deceptively simple, a long, slender blade attached to a wire. But in Kushimaru's hands, it becomes a tool of torture. His signature move, Curtain of Death, involves threading enemies into each other, or the environment, trapping them like flies in a spider's web. Kushimaru shows an eerie level of mastery over Nuibari. His movements are fluid, and he controls the wire with such ease. It's almost like a part of his own body. His speed and accuracy make it nearly impossible to escape once the first needle lands. He's a monster. Ruthless, brutal, and obsessed with inflicting pain, Kushimaru embodies the dark legend of the 7 swordsmen. There's no redemption arc, only cruelty. He helped solidify the terrifying reputation of the Mist's elite bladesman. But unfortunately, like many in the group, his backstory is thin. We don't get to explore what made him this way. He's more of a symbol than a character. 8. Zabuza Momochi. The first true villain of Naruto, the blade-wielding ghost who haunted the fog. Zabuza Momochi didn't introduce us to the 7 swordsmen. He defined what a shinobi monster could be. Wielding the massive Kubikiri Bocho, Zabuza brought a brutal fighting style to the table. He didn't rely on elegance. He relied on fear. He used overwhelming strength, deceptive mist tactics, and psychological warfare to dominate the battlefield. Zabuza's signature technique, silent killing, is as terrifying as it sounds. He'd drown the field in thick mist, then eliminate targets without a sound. No chakra flash, no dramatic swing, just death, delivered coldly. His weapon, the Kubikiri Bocho, is infamous for regenerating using the iron from the blood of its victims. That's right, Zabuza literally fed his blade with the corpses of his enemies, making him both a killer and a blacksmith of doom in one. Zabuza showed high tactical ability, using terrain, fear, and teamwork with Haku to gain the upper hand. He was adaptable, smart, and lethal even when blinded by mist or emotion. Zabuza starts cold, even cruel, but his relationship with Haku adds a tragic layer. By the end, we see a man broken by the system he once served, showing that even demons cry. He was the first boss-level threat, the first to show us how real and emotional this world could get. His death was not only a plot point, it was a statement. 7. Fuguki Suikazan. Before Kisame turned Samehada into a legend, there was Fuguki Suikazan, a mountain of muscle, chakra, and menace. As an earlier wielder of the living blade, Fuguki brought raw power to the 7 swordsmen. Fuguki's fighting style is brutally simple. He uses his sheer size and strength to swing Samehada like a wrecking ball, crushing enemies and draining their chakra in the process. He doesn't dodge, he absorbs. He doesn't finesse, he is overwhelmed. Samehada is no ordinary sword. It's alive, reacts to chakra, and can fuse with its user. Fuguki used this bond to overpower most opponents, relying heavily on Samehada's ability to eat chakra and keep him going. His fighting wasn't technical, but it was relentless. Where Fuguki falls short is refinement. Compared to Kisame, who used Samehada with surgical precision and complex strategy, Fuguki was more of a brute force tank. He lacked the creativity and synergy that Kisame later developed. Fuguki was greedy, untrustworthy, and ultimately doomed by his own student. Kisame killed him in cold blood after uncovering his corruption, proving that even within the 7 swordsmen, betrayal runs deep. Fuguki didn't have a huge impact on the Naruto storyline, but his existence helped shape the mythos of Samehada and added depth to Kisame's rise. 6. Mifune. In a world ruled by chakra and jutsu, Mifune stood tall as a master of pure swordsmanship. As the leader of the samurai from the Land of Iron, he wasn't an outsider. He was a reminder that discipline and honor can rival even the strongest ninja. Mifune's combat style is based on Ieido, the lightning-fast technique of drawing and slashing in a single, seamless motion. He eliminates his targets before they can even weave a hand sign. His signature move, Flash, is so fast and precise that it completely shuts down ninjutsu, forcing even top-tier shinobi into close combat. Armed with the traditional katana, Mifune doesn't rely on chakra tricks or flashy transformations. His strength lies in timing, precision, and mastery. He's the ultimate counter to those who underestimate physical combat. He reached peak performance during his battle with Hanzo of the Salamander, a legendary ninja with poison, summons, and a fearsome reputation. Mifune defeated him without using a single jutsu, purely through conviction and sword technique, a feat that speaks volumes about his level of mastery. Mifune is the embodiment of honor. Calm, righteous, and unwavering, he upholds the samurai code even when surrounded by deception. As a key voice during the Fourth Great Ninja War, he played a vital role in unifying the Allied forces and proving that even non-ninja can shape the world's future. 5. Chojuro. From nervous apprentice to Mizukage, Chojuro's journey is one of growth and raw talent. As one of the 7 swordsmen and the wielder of the Hiramekare, he represents the next generation of hidden mist swordmasters. Chojuro's fighting style is fluid and adaptive. He uses Hiramekare to change the flow of battle, shifting between offense and defense with incredible chakra control. His technique, Hiramekare Unleashing, forms massive chakra constructs, like hammers, swords, and other weapons, giving him devastating power with every swing. The Hiramekare is unlike any other blade. It stores chakra and molds it into any shape the user desires, essentially turning Chojuro into a walking weapon factory. Few swords offer such versatility and impact. His level of control over chakra through the sword is exceptional. He measures, plans, and executes with precision. That's why, during the war and beyond, Chojuro consistently proves himself on the battlefield. Chojuro grows into a trusted leader. His dedication to protecting the Mist Village and reshaping its bloody legacy marks him as one of the few truly good-hearted leaders in the Naruto world. As Mizukage, Chojuro becomes a symbol of change and progress, leading his village into an era of peace and cooperation. His influence spans both the battlefield and the political stage. 4. Kisame Hoshigaki. If chakra were a weapon, Kisame Hoshigaki would be a walking nuke. Dubbed the Tailless Tailed Beast, Kisame is one of the most terrifying swordsmen in Naruto, and for good reason. His style is brutally efficient. Kisame uses Samehada, a living sword that feeds on chakra, to strip enemies of their abilities before smashing them into the dirt. He thrives in prolonged combat, turning his opponent's strength into his own fuel. Samehada is beyond a sword. It's a partner. It heals Kisame, fuses with him, and actively participates in combat. His most fearsome ability, Samehada Fusion, transforms Kisame into a shark-like monster, massively boosting his power and allowing him to fight underwater with total dominance. Kisame's mastery over Samehada is unmatched. Unlike Fuguki, who wielded it with brute force, Kisame understood the sword's instincts. He knew how to sync with it, how to let it guide his attacks, defend, and consume chakra in the most effective way possible. Beneath his monstrous power lies a complex man. Kisame is ruthless and cruel, but also strangely noble. He believes in a harsh kind of peace and stays loyal to his cause until the bitter end, even choosing death to protect secrets over betrayal. His battles with Killer Bee and Might Guy are legendary. He pushed both opponents to the edge, and his presence in the Akatsuki made him a constant threat on par with any tailed beast host. 3. Sasuke Uchiha. Sasuke Uchiha, the last scion of the Uchiha clan, isn't only a Sharingan prodigy. He's also a deadly master of the sword. His kenjutsu is fast, lethal, and perfectly complemented by his visual prowess and lightning chakra. Sasuke's swordsmanship is all about speed and precision. With the Sharingan, he can anticipate movements, counter with split-second reactions, and punish even the smallest openings. His strikes are quick, clean, and rarely wasted. He wields the Kusanagi blade, channeling lightning chakra through it to increase its cutting power and stun enemies with every slash. His technique, Chidori Senbon, while typically a ranged move, originates from his incredible chakra control and sword channeling finesse. In terms of mastery, Sasuke ranks near the top. He held his own in high-speed sword duels against Killer Bee, a master of multi-blade combat, and even fought on par with the likes of Itachi and Madara in full-scale wars. Personality-wise, Sasuke is layered and complex. His path from revenge to redemption adds depth to every battle. Each slash of his sword carries the weight of his past and the hope for his future. From rogue ninja to hero, he shaped world events, ended centuries of conflict, and stood alongside Naruto as a savior of the shinobi world. 2. Mangetsu Hozuki. Mangetsu Hozuki was a once-in-a-generation genius, a shinobi so talented he mastered all 7 legendary swords of the mist. That's mythical. Unlike others who specialized in one blade, Mangetsu could switch between the Kubikiri Bocho, Samehada, Hiramekare, and more, effortlessly adapting his style mid-battle. His fluid combat style made him unpredictable and near impossible to counter. What made Mangetsu terrifying wasn't flashy jutsu, it was his effortless versatility. No standout technique was needed. His ability to flow between multiple sword styles made him a human arsenal. That alone sets him apart from every other swordsman. He was the only known person to ever master all 7 blades, a feat so rare it elevated him to near-legend status among the Mist's elite. Mangetsu was quiet, serious, and driven. His raw talent inspired his younger brother, Suigetsu, who sought to follow in his footsteps. Though little is known about Mangetsu's personality, his legacy speaks volumes. His reputation alone sent ripples through shinobi history. He's a symbol of perfection in swordsmanship and the ideal every Mist swordsman strives to match. 1. Killer Bee. Killer Bee is the Jinchuriki of the Eight Tails. He's the wildest, flashiest, most unorthodox swordsman in the Naruto universe. His swordsmanship doesn't follow rules. It breaks them and rewrites them in freestyle rap. Bee's style, known as acrobatic kenjutsu, involves wielding 8 swords simultaneously, often holding them between his elbows, knees, and even his mouth. Every movement is a fluid dance of flips, spins, and unexpected angles, turning every strike into a potential knockout. He uses no traditional technique. Instead, he relies on pure muscle memory, instinct, and flexibility. His unpredictable moves make him impossible to read, especially when enhanced by his monstrous chakra. His most iconic technique, Disturbance Taijutsu, fuses taijutsu and swordplay into a whirling storm of blades while flipping through the air. It's impossible to block unless you're prepared for chaos. Bee's mastery of his 8-blade style is unparalleled. Even Sasuke, fresh off his training with Orochimaru, was completely overwhelmed in their first encounter. Add in Bee's perfect control over the 8 tails, and you've got a fighter with both raw and refined power. Bee is joyful, eccentric, and fiercely loyal. He's a rapper, a brother, and a mentor, especially to Naruto. He helped turn the tide of war, mentored the protagonist, and brought rhythm to a world ruled by tradition and war. He takes the #1 spot without question. His swordplay is so original, so dangerous, and so Killer Bee that few would ever dare to dispute it. His style is legendary.
Karasu. Let's start with the first puppet we ever saw from the last surviving member of the Puppet Brigade. This is Karasu, a creepy puppet originally created by Sasori, the legendary puppet master from the Sand Village, and later used by Kankuro. With 3 glowing eyes, 4 arms, and a mouthful of sharp teeth, Karasu literally looks like a walking nightmare. And yeah, that's 100% intentional. This thing was made to freak you out at first glance. Kankuro used it during the Chunin exams to disguise himself as a proctor, and also pulled off some pretty clever bait-and-switch tactics during battle. Now, what really makes Karasu scary is what's inside. This puppet is basically a walking weapon vault. It can shoot out poisoned kunai from its arms and chest like a machine gun. It can drop poison smoke bombs that paralyze you in seconds. Its arms can fully detach and attack from different angles, kinda like multi-directional sneak attacks. Oh, and let's not forget the giant poison needle hiding in its mouth. That thing alone has enough venom to knock out just about any ninja in one hit. During Kankuro's fight with Shino Aburame in the Chunin exams, Karasu really showed what it could do. Kankuro moved it around like some kind of deadly ballerina, launching poisoned kunai, toxic smoke, and just when you thought it had nothing left, boom, surprise! Another hidden weapon. Karasu's not the most high-tech puppet out there, but it's surprisingly tricky, super flexible, and dangerous enough to overwhelm enemies in a one-on-one fight.
Kurawari. Next up, we've got Kurawari, another wild puppet with a super weird look. It's got a long, horse-shaped head, 2 sharp red horns, and 3 creepy eyes, just like Karasu. Its body looks like a giant barrel with 6 arms, making it feel more like a walking fortress than a puppet. But that bulky design was built for one thing, trapping people. While Karasu is all about attacking with a bunch of crazy weapons, Kurawari's main job is to lock enemies down. Its big chest opens up like a mouth and swallows the target whole, then slams shut so they can't escape. Each of its arms has sharp saw blades, ready to slice up anyone who tries to resist. Yeah, this thing doesn't just trap you, it punishes you for struggling. The real terror kicks in when Kankuro uses his black secret technique, Machine One-Shot. Here's how it works. He uses Kurawari to trap the enemy inside, then uses Karasu to stab poison blades straight through the holes in Kurawari's body, like a meat grinder with teamwork. This combo was seriously brutal during his fight against Sakon and Ukon. And get this, during the Fourth Great Ninja War, Kankuro even used 2 Kurawari puppets at the same time. He straight up trapped both Sasori and Deidara, 2 S-rank Akatsuki members, in one go. That's insane.
Sanshuo. Out of Kankuro's legendary puppet trio, we've seen the attacker, we've seen the trap master, and now comes the ultimate defender, Sanshuo. This puppet is all about defense. It looks kinda like a giant salamander, with a long, slim body, a big tail, and a wide frill around its head. Its whole body is covered in iron armor, basically turning it into a walking bunker. Inside, there's a hollow space that can fit up to 3 people. Kankuro often hides inside to stay safe and set up a surprise counterattack. The frill around its head can lift up like a shield, and when you add the curved tail, it creates a full 360-degree defense. Basically a moving fortress, and it gets crazier. During the Fourth Great Ninja War, Sanshuo got an upgrade. It gained a powerful suction ability that could literally pull enemies inside like a freaking vacuum trap. Its most impressive moment? That would be its fight against Shin, the immortal guy. During the war, Sanshuo actually managed to trap him and hold him down, which is crazy on its own. But it also tanked most of Deidara's clay bomb explosion, saving Kankuro and the entire squad. Hiruko. Alright, now it's time for a real legend, Sasori. Let's talk about Hiruko, the puppet Sasori loved using the most. For most of his appearances, Hiruko was basically Sasori's personal armor and disguise. At first glance, Hiruko looks like some weird creature, kinda like a giant, hunchbacked scorpion. It's covered in tough armor, has a creepy face, and a sharp metal tail, always ready to strike. What makes Hiruko even scarier is that Sasori hides inside it, completely controlling it from within, using an advanced chakra thread system. A lot of people didn't even know what Sasori actually looked like. They only knew Hiruko. And of course, this puppet is basically a walking arsenal. Its mouth can fire hundreds of poison senbon at insane speed. Its left arm has been modified into a multi-directional launcher, able to shoot needles in every direction and turn the battlefield into a death zone. Then there's the metal tail. It's not just insanely sharp and hard like steel, but also weirdly flexible. It can stretch out to stab enemies or wrap around them and hold them tight. But here's the worst part. Every single weapon is coated with Sasori's custom-made poison. You don't even need to get stabbed deep. Just a tiny scratch is enough to make you suffer in agony for 3 whole days before dying. Third Kazekage puppet. Now this one's on a whole different level. Sasori turned the dead body of the strongest Kazekage in Sand Village history into a puppet. Yeah, he actually killed a Kage and then used his corpse as a weapon. What makes this puppet a total nightmare is that it still has the Kazekage's Keke Genkai, the iron sand technique. This legendary power, once used to dominate the desert, now belongs fully to Sasori. He can send iron sand flying across the battlefield, turning it into spikes, massive walls, blades, whatever he wants. And yep, everything is laced with his deadly poison. And since sand has crazy wide coverage, Sasori could basically control the whole battlefield with just this one puppet. Seriously, that's terrifying. On the outside, the puppet still looks like a proud, powerful Kage. But inside, it's a freaking weapon factory. Its right arm holds razor-sharp claws. Its left arm is a masterpiece called the Thousand Hands Manipulation, a bunch of mechanical arms that shoot out all at once, raining down pure destruction. Sasori literally turned a human into the perfect killing machine, kept all the strengths, removed all the weaknesses. No need for rest, no pain, no fear, no feelings. Just cold, deadly precision. This puppet even destroyed Chiyo's puppet of her own son and daughter, and it ripped off her arm in battle. But well, in one wild moment, it got just a little too close to Sakura, and she punched it into pieces. Father and mother. Now let's talk about 2 very special puppets, ones with a completely different story. Mother and father were the first puppets Sasori ever made, and they weren't built for battle. They were built from deep, painful loneliness. When Sasori's parents died in the war, killed by Tsukumo Hatake, he was just a kid. A genius kid, sure, but also an orphan, desperate to feel love again. So he did what only Sasori could do. He rebuilt his parents. He created puppets that looked just like them. Kind, warm, familiar. They weren't weapons, not yet. They were his way of trying to feel close to them again, a second chance to be hugged. But no matter how real they looked, the puppets couldn't love him back. They were hollow. And that broke something in Sasori. That's when he started believing that only eternal beauty mattered. Not feelings, not people. Just perfect, unchanging art. After Sasori left the village, Chiyo, his grandmother, upgraded Mother and Father into combat puppets. Under her control, they became a deadly duo. Mother was given a razor-sharp serrated katana. Father wielded a multi-jointed wooden whip covered in kunai. They even had wire traps strung between their fingers, sharp enough to shred anything that got too close. Their arms hid chakra shields for quick defense when needed. Now, let's be real. These two weren't strong enough for battles between legends. They weren't built for large-scale wars. But in Sasori's final fight, Chiyo used these two puppets to end his life. They stabbed him through the heart, in a pose that looked like a hug. It was as if Sasori's parents had come back, just for a moment to hold their lost son one last time and bring him home. Sasori puppet. And now we've reached Sasori's final masterpiece, his darkest creation, himself. The Sasori puppet isn't just another puppet, it is Sasori. He turned his own body into a literal killing machine. Unlike normal puppets, this one had a single living piece left, a small container in the left side of his chest. That was his only remaining human part, his life core. And yeah, from the outside, still kinda good looking. But inside, completely hollow, and filled with deadly weapons. He had poison cables hidden in his stomach that could shoot out like a scorpion's tail. His hips had giant spinning blades that could slice through everything, and even let him fly like some murder helicopter. One of his arms had flamethrowers and water cannons with insane pressure. Like, this dude wasn't casting jutsu. He didn't need chakra nature. He brought gadgets. He brought guns. No spell spam, just straight up hardware. But the scariest part? He was almost impossible to kill. If someone hit him, his body parts could detach to absorb the damage and then snap right back together. Even worse, he could move his life core into a different puppet body and just keep fighting, over and over. The only way to stop him for good was to destroy the core. Inside his chest, he also had a chakra thread spinner that let him activate his ultimate move. Red Secret Technique, performance of 100 puppets. Yep, Sasori could control 100 puppets at once, turning the battlefield into pure hell. After Sasori died, Kankuro actually upgraded this puppet. He added a chakra light shield and a stretching arm, turning it into a deadly new weapon for himself.
100 puppet army. Yeah, the real power of the Sasori puppet wasn't just the weapons. It was the fact that it could control other puppets. Not just a few, 100. Sasori's 100 puppet army was the same force that wiped out an entire nation. This wasn't just some fancy jutsu, it was proof of Sasori's god-level puppet skills. While other puppet masters could only control around 10 puppets max, Sasori went way beyond that. The secret? You already know it. His life core. It had a special chakra system that shot out hundreds of threads, letting him control each puppet directly. No delay, no lag. Just pure, real-time control. Like the entire army was just an extension of his body. Each puppet in the army wore red cloaks and carried deadly custom-made poison weapons. Just one tiny scratch from any of them could paralyze you and send you into painful convulsions. This was the poison Sasori was super proud of. The kind that makes you wish you were already dead. And in the anime, 2 of those puppets even had Sharingan eyes. Yep. That means there's a chance Sasori had some connection with the Uchiha clan. Or maybe Orochimaru helped him boost his army with stolen body parts. Creepy? Absolutely. Effective? Even more. The strategy behind the 100 puppet army is brutally simple. Overwhelm the enemy with sheer numbers. When 100 deadly puppets attack from every direction at once, even top-tier ninja can barely keep up. No complex teamwork, no flashy plans, just poison and pressure until the enemy breaks. In his fight against Chiyo and Sakura, this army turned the battlefield into a sea of red cloaks and flying blades, a total puppet apocalypse. The Chikamatsu 10 Puppet Collection. So yeah, Sasori's 100 puppet army was crazy strong, but let's be real, that was just pure numbers. Throw more bodies at the enemy and hope they collapse. It worked, but it wasn't smart. If you want real puppet mastery, the true art of precision overpower, you gotta talk about the Chikamatsu 10 puppet collection. These 10 legendary puppets were created by Mangetsu Chikamatsu, the original puppet master. Literal, OG. They're considered the greatest puppets ever made, and they became the ultimate weapons in the hands of Lady Chiyo, the Sand Village's top puppet expert. There's a rumor that just these 10 puppets alone could take down an entire castle. And honestly, that's not even surprising, because each puppet in this collection is insanely strong. Let's start with puppet number 1. This one looks like a weird monster with massive hands. At first, it seems pretty basic, but it's actually Chiyo's living shield. Its crazy strong taijutsu can block almost any attack head on. Absolute tank. Next, we've got puppet number 2, the one with the horse face. Don't let the look fool you. This thing is a prison machine. Its arms can extend and form an iron cage to trap enemies, and then it fires 4 explosive bombs from its mouth with deadly accuracy. Now comes a terrifying tag team. Puppet number 3 and number 4. These two fight together like pure chaos. Puppet number 3 has a red face, white hair, and hides a deadly secret. A spinning sphere with 4 chakra blades, basically a ninja blender. Just one tiny cut from those blades, and it's game over. Puppet number 9. Black hair, deadly aim. Its job is to swing puppet number 3 around like a killer yo-yo, using chains. When they team up, it's like watching a tornado of slicing death, almost impossible to dodge. Now, number 5. This bald-headed guy might look weak, but he's basically a sniper. It hides deadly chakra cables in its head, which can shoot out and pierce through multiple enemies from far away. Or it can wrap around them and crush slowly. Long-range attacks are its specialty, and it's scary accurate. Now for the spiritual trio, puppets number 6, 7, and 8. Each one represents a Buddhist character, Zo, Ho, Butsu. When they work together, they unleash the 3-jewel suction crushing, a swirling vortex that sucks in and destroys anything in its path. One of the most terrifying moves in the entire set. Puppet number 9 is a red-haired female warrior with 2 huge swords. She's a total blade master. Each swing is powerful enough to slice enemies clean in half. The big swords make her a bit slower, sure, but the raw power totally makes up for it. And finally, puppet number 10, the one-eyed beast. It holds the most unique move, the Roaring Lion Seal technique. It launches a sealing orb that can shut down all of the enemy's chakra points, basically turning a ninja into a sitting duck. It's kinda like Hyuga clan stuff, but built into a puppet. You see, these 10 puppets can do everything. They can fight with taijutsu, use ninjutsu, throw out sealing jutsu. Everything an elite ninja can do, these puppets can do too. Even the weakest one fights at least average Chunin level. Meanwhile, Sasori's regular puppets mostly just focus on weapons and poison. And the teamwork? Absolutely next level. Chiyo controls all 10 at the same time, using 1 finger per puppet. That's master level stuff. When they move together, it's not just a battle, it's a perfectly timed dance of destruction. In the fight against Sasori's 100 puppet army, this small team of 10 absolutely held their ground and pushed back a force 10 times larger. They moved like a death symphony, smooth, deadly, unstoppable. That's why the Chikamatsu 10 puppets are seen as both deadly weapons and true works of art. They don't just kill, they show the peak of human creativity, intelligence, and precision. Autonomous puppets. Alright, now we're stepping into the future. These aren't just wooden puppets. These are autonomous puppets. Deadly machines that can move on their own, with no chakra strings needed. Yeah, they don't need a puppeteer constantly pulling the strings. You can just sit back, and they'll still go to war for you. They were created by the Otsutsuki clan on the moon. Yep, moon robots. Totally real. Totally terrifying. Originally, these puppets were built for simple daily tasks. But their combat potential? Absolutely insane. We saw their true power when Toneri Otsutsuki invaded the Hidden Leaf Village. He could control hundreds of them at the same time, without even breaking a sweat, all thanks to a special energy source hidden inside the moon. Both Toneri and Urashiki could even see through their puppets' eyes, letting them pull off clever distractions and surprise attacks. Sound familiar? Yeah, just like Nagato's 6 Paths of Pain. Even the basic versions of these puppets could store chakra and turn it into explosive energy orbs. They could launch rapid-fire blasts at crazy speed, and even charge up big ones for massive damage. The upgraded models had chakra swords, basically turning them into fully automated killing machines. Physically, they were super strong, able to leave deep craters in the ground, stretch their limbs, float mid-air, and hide weapons inside their bodies. Some of them even managed to overpower Hayashi Hyuga and 2 other Hyuga clan members. Even Kankuro, the veteran puppet master, had to use a self-destruct strategy just to stop one. Their durability? Also wild. They could survive direct explosions and still keep fighting. The stronger ones just refused to die, even after getting wrecked. Later on, Kankuro studied them to improve his own puppet techniques. He learned how to use super thin chakra threads to fake that same autonomous movement, making his puppets look like they were fighting all on their own. Deva Path. The Deva Path is the crown jewel of Nagato's 6 paths, absolutely the symbol of power and domination. While the other paths each focus on a specific kind of fighting, this one is the full embodiment of godhood in the ninja world. Controlling gravity, pushing and pulling anything at will, isn't just some fancy jutsu. It's straight up reality bending. The user literally manipulates space itself. That moment when Nagato, using Yahiko's body, floated above the hidden leaf and stretched out his hand to unleash Shinra Tensei, destroying the whole village in one shot. That scene became instantly legendary. This is what we call god-tier destruction. The way the Deva Path works is honestly mind-blowing. Shinra Tensei creates a blast of repelling force, and the user can fully control how strong it is. It can push back one enemy, or completely wipe out an entire city. On the flip side, Bansho Tenin pulls objects and people straight toward the user, letting them totally control the enemy's position and movement during battle. The push and pull balance perfectly, making the user feel like they've got the whole battlefield in their hands. The true peak of the Deva Path is Chibaku Tensei, a technique that creates what are basically mini planets. When activated, a mysterious black core appears and starts violently pulling everything toward it. Rocks, trees, animals, even people. Literally everything nearby gets sucked in, crushed together into a massive floating sphere in the sky. The scene where Naruto, in his terrifying Six Tails form, gets trapped inside one of these moons, that moment perfectly showed the godlike power of the Deva Path. And let's not forget, Madara took this to the next level by creating an entire meteor shower of these things, straight up apocalyptic. In actual combat, the Deva Path is incredibly versatile. It's not just for blowing stuff up, it can also act as the ultimate defense. It can easily repel any jutsu, even Sasuke's Amaterasu flames. With full control over push and pull, the user totally controls the flow of battle, deciding exactly when to drag enemies in for a finishing blow, and when to shove them away to avoid danger. And when you combine Deva Path with the other Rinnegan abilities, you get some straight-up horrifying combo attacks that can break entire teams with flawless timing and control. But yeah, this god-tier power comes at a price. The cooldown is its biggest weakness. After using something huge like leveling the whole Hidden Leaf Village, the user has to wait several seconds before using it again. And that short window is a golden opportunity for fast and smart ninjas to strike back hard. Also, the chakra cost is absolutely massive. Techniques like Chibaku Tensei or full-scale Shinra Tensei burn through chakra like crazy. And even worse, they drain the user's life force. Even someone like Nagato, with a ridiculously huge chakra pool, suffered major damage from overusing these powers. Honestly, the 6 paths techniques are insanely powerful, but if you don't have the 6 paths level chakra to match, they'll totally eat you alive. Animal Path. The Animal Path is one of the 6 powers of the Rinnegan. Unlike the other paths that usually need hand signs or blood sacrifices, this one works instantly. Just a single thought. And then, a swarm of deadly beasts comes crashing in from thin air. Nagato used the animal path like a true master conductor, leading an orchestra of destruction. Every time he summoned those giant monsters with Rinnegan eyes, he immediately created insane pressure on the battlefield. We're talking about terrifying creatures like the three-headed immortal Cerberus. It splits into more copies every time you attack it. Or massive rhinos that charge like freight trains and smash everything in their way. Totally brutal. What makes the animal path truly wild is how it works. These aren't normal animals. They're like supernatural beasts pulled from another dimension. They're basically unkillable. And those black chakra rods stuck in their bodies act like invisible leashes, letting Nagato control them perfectly from a distance. But the most insane part? All these summons can completely share their vision through the Rinnegan. That means Nagato sees everything they see, from every angle, no blind spots, no surprises. It's like having a full battlefield surveillance system made of living monsters. In battle, the animal path shows insanely high tactical variety. Nagato could easily overwhelm enemies by spamming the immortal Cerberus to outnumber them, or instantly summon a giant bird for fast movement and scouting from the sky. Each summon had its own special role. He could even summon actual people, like Konan or other paths of pain, throwing his enemies into total confusion. But yeah, the animal path isn't completely perfect. It seriously eats up a massive amount of chakra. Only someone like Nagato, with god-tier chakra reserves, can fully use its power. The more chakra you've got, the more monsters you can summon. In Nagato's case, well, this man literally summoned an entire zoo. Also, this path leans more on raw power than finesse. It's brutal, not super subtle or hard to counter if you keep your cool. Still, despite its flaws, the animal path is absolutely one of the scariest abilities in the Naruto universe. Being able to flood the battlefield with a horde of undead beasts, combined with super flexible tactics, makes it a straight-up nightmare in the hands of a master like Nagato. Asura Path. Unlike the other Rinnegan paths that focus on smart or tricky techniques, the Asura path follows a super simple but crazy effective rule: destroy everything with overwhelming firepower. It's all about turning your body into a full-on weapon, where the line between human and machine completely disappears. Back when most ninja weapons were just kunai, shuriken, and slightly bigger shuriken, the Rinnegan gave its users something way more terrifying: tech-based nightmare fuel. The user's body suddenly mutates in wild ways, growing extra strong arms, sprouting extra faces to watch in every direction, and even forming a spinning saw blade belt like some death machine fashion statement. These new body parts totally act like high-tech weapons, and they can be detached or used however the user wants. It's like having a full arsenal built into your skeleton. The Asura Path's power in real battle is no joke. During the fight with Jiraiya, one of the legendary Sannin, it literally tore off his arm using pure taijutsu strength. No jutsu needed. It can also turn its hand into a fragmented rocket using the flaming arrow warhead, which relentlessly chases its target and explodes with insane force. And with the flaming arrow of amazing ability, it compresses chakra in its wrist and fires its hand like a high-speed missile, punching through anything in the way, then automatically pulls the hand back like a magnet. Yup, built-in boomerang cannon hand. Absolutely savage. When it turns its hand into a cannon, or opens the top of its head to fire a massive chakra blast, it can literally flatten buildings with a single shot. During the attack on the Hidden Leaf Village, the Asura Path kept blasting non-stop, completely leveling entire city blocks. It looked like some unstoppable force straight out of a sci-fi apocalypse. You see, it's insanely flexible. One moment, it's smashing faces up close, the next, it's firing deadly long-range missiles. It can instantly switch between brutal hand-to-hand combat and terrifying ranged attacks, like blink, and you're toast. But yeah, even this steel-plated war machine has some serious weak spots. All that destruction massively drains chakra, especially those huge area attacks like the chakra blast. Plus, the Asura path focuses more on raw power than precision. That means it can definitely get outplayed by smart, adaptive opponents who know how to think fast under pressure. That said, remember when Nagato got brought back with Edo Tensei during the Fourth Great Ninja War? He actually turned his whole body into a full-on robot. At that point, he became even more flexible, way more dangerous, and honestly, totally terrifying. Dude went full Terminator mode. Human path. The human path isn't the flashiest of the six paths, but man, it's seriously terrifying in its own way. This power doesn't throw explosions or giant monsters at you. Nah, it attacks your mind, your soul, and rips your life away with just one touch. When Nagato used this path through the body of a fallen Takigakure shinobi, he turned the human path into the ultimate interrogation tool. Cold, silent, and ruthlessly unforgiving. The way it works sounds simple, but it's crazy creepy. Just imagine someone placing their hand on you and instantly reaching into your soul. The Rinnegan stares right into your mind, dragging your spirit out of your body. All your secrets, memories, plans, everything inside your head gets stolen, and the price is immediate, unavoidable death. No fireworks, no jutsu clashes. Just a chilling, quiet end. Nagato used this power like a silent judge, extracting intel while wiping people out effortlessly. He made it feel like death itself was part of Akatsuki's grand plan. Absolutely savage. But yeah, this soul-ripping power has some major weaknesses. It's basically a double-edged blade. If it lands, it's game over. But if it can't reach the target, it's almost useless. The range is super short, which makes the human path's body easy prey for fast-moving ninjas. It's weak in direct combat and totally relies on protection from the other paths, especially the Deva path and Asura path. Still, let's be real, if Nagato hadn't been crippled and he used the paths himself instead of through 6 separate bodies, bro would have been unstoppable. Naraka path. If the human path is a soul hunter, then the Naraka path is the final judge from the underworld, where the line between life and death becomes seriously blurred. The Naraka path opens the gate to the afterlife, letting Nagato summon the King of Hell to do 2 completely opposite things: judge enemies and revive allies. When Nagato controlled this path through the body of a priest, he turned it into a cold, merciless executioner. He would summon the King of Hell, a giant head with glowing Rinnegan eyes and purple flames, looking like something straight out of a nightmare. The way it works sounds more like dark magic than ninjutsu. With just one touch, the King of Hell rises up from the ground and drags the soul out of its target to interrogate them. If they lie, their tongue is instantly ripped out, and death follows right after. It's creepy, ritualistic, and absolutely terrifying. But the real monster move here is its godlike healing power. During the Leaf Village invasion, the King of Hell fully restored the destroyed Asura path, good as new, like it was never damaged. Nagato used the Naraka path as a strategic medic station, keeping all his 6 paths alive during long battles. This is why Pain was able to dominate for so long. His enemies were basically fighting against a team that just wouldn't stay dead. And according to Kabuto Yakushi, this path can even transport both bodies and souls, making it seriously useful for tactical movement. That means it's not just for interrogation and healing, it also acts like a strategic portal, helping the other paths suddenly show up exactly where they're needed most. Nagato fully maximized this path's potential, keeping it in the backlines as a high-value support unit that needed to be completely protected at all costs. But this insanely powerful ability also comes with some deadly weaknesses. It has literally no direct attack power, like 0 offensive skills. So in a close-up fight, this path is basically useless without strong backup from the Deva or Asura paths. Also, using it to heal bodies or summon the King of Hell eats up a massive amount of chakra, especially if Nagato has to use it multiple times in one battle. But here's the thing, its support role is so important and so broken that it instantly became a top priority target. That's exactly why Naruto went after the Naraka path first, cutting off Pain's ability to heal and making the whole six-path setup way more vulnerable. This was the big brain strategy used by Naruto and the Leaf Shinobi in their final fight against Pain. In the end, the Naraka path is the ultimate contradiction. It's both a brutal bringer of death through merciless judgment and a divine source of life through miracle-level healing. And this deadly combo is exactly what made it one of the scariest and most important weapons in Nagato's arsenal. Preta path. In the ninja world, where chakra is everything, the Preta path, also called the Naraka path, is absolutely one of the scariest abilities you can face. It's like a walking anti-jutsu wall, literally turning chakra-based attacks into nothing. When Nagato used this path through the corpse of a Kusagakure shinobi, he basically created a chakra devourer that could instantly absorb everything, from basic jutsu to insanely complex senjutsu. To understand how terrifying this thing is, imagine it like a chakra black hole. Once it activates the blocking technique absorption seal, an invisible shield surrounds the user and completely swallows any jutsu that touches it. But here's the wild part. The absorbed chakra gets turned into energy that heals the user or even boosts their power. Classic chakra absorption. Cheat move, the most iconic moment? Definitely when it straight up absorbed Naruto's Rasen Shuriken during the Pain Invasion arc. That jutsu is ridiculously strong, sharp enough to shred cells and packed with massive chakra. But against Preta path, it vanished. Just like that, gone. That moment proved something super important. No jutsu is truly unbeatable when Rinnegan is in play. During the Fourth Great Ninja War, Preta path showed off another side. Nagato used it to suck chakra from Killer Bee, and immediately, I mean instantly, he went from half-dead zombie mode to fully healed, red hair glowing, walking like a damn boss. That was the Preta path's godlike healing in action. What makes it absolutely terrifying is how it can shut down almost anything. Amaterasu? Gone. Elemental jutsu? Eaten. No matter how complex, it just gets absorbed like it's nothing. Nagato basically turned this path into a giant chakra wall that's nearly impossible to break through. But of course, even this kind of god-tier power has its limits. It's completely useless against physical attacks, like pure taijutsu or weapons. Gaara showed this perfectly when he used sand to trap the Preta path. Sure, chakra from the sand can get sucked away, but the sand itself, being physical, can't be absorbed. And here's the scary twist. Absorbing too much natural chakra, like from senjutsu, can actually backfire and turn the user into stone. Nature punishes greed. Also, this path needs to make contact or create a chakra shield to work, so smart ninjas can totally outplay it by keeping their distance or using techniques that don't rely on chakra. Or you can just call Rock Lee or Might Guy and end it with a punch to the face. That's why, in team battles, the Preta path usually plays more of a defensive or support role, not the main attacker. Outer path. While the other paths of the Rinnegan are still kinda tied to the world of humans, the outer path goes way beyond. We're talking about god-level power here, where life and death aren't rules, they're just suggestions. This path completely ignores them. With the outer path, the user can literally summon souls back from the afterlife, control dead bodies like puppets using black chakra rods, and even bind gigantic tailed beasts with those creepy chakra chains. It's not just another ability, it's the final boss tier of the Rinnegan. You remember those 6 orange-haired bodies Pain used? Each one had a specific path's power. But what let Nagato control all of them at once? The outer path. That's the key. Each body became a perfect extension of Nagato's will, all moving together like a deadly orchestra. And since they shared vision through the Rinnegan, they had 0 blind spots. It was like watching a creepy hive mind fight you in perfect sync. But if you ask me about the Outer Path's most insane ability, well, that's gotta be Rinne Tensei. This jutsu straight up rewrites the rules of death. Nagato used it to revive the entire Hidden Leaf village after destroying it. Literally, thousands of souls flew back into their bodies, all while Nagato slowly died from the effort. That moment, souls raining from the sky, the king of hell opening its mouth, it was hands down one of the most powerful scenes in the whole series. Obito used the Outer Path in a totally different way. Instead of using normal dead bodies like Nagato, he used reanimated Jinchuriki, people who once had tailed beasts inside them. And yeah, these bodies weren't normal at all. They kept their beast powers, which made them absolutely overpowered. Each of them had insane abilities from their tailed beast, and together, they became living weapons of destruction. On top of that, Rinnegan users can also use the demonic statue chains, those giant black chakra chains with dragon heads coming from the Gedo statue. These chains are seriously dangerous. You've seen Akatsuki use them to rip the tailed beasts out of Jinchuriki. Nagato used them to wipe out an entire army of Hanzo's men. And Madara, he casually used them to capture multiple tailed beasts at once. This technique is straight up top-tier sealing jutsu. Then, we've got Hagoromo Otsutsuki, the father of all ninjutsu, who took the Outer Path to a whole new level. He summoned the souls of past Kage from the Pure Land. He released souls from Edo Tensei. He even pulled Team 7 and the tailed beasts out of Kaguya's dimension. Yeah, the Outer Path literally lets you reach between worlds and break reality. The way the Outer Path works is like stepping outside all laws of nature. Controlling dead bodies, summoning hell chains, flipping life and death like it's nothing. None of this is remotely normal. What makes the Outer Path the absolute peak of the Rinnegan isn't just raw power, it's what it means. This is the power of someone who's no longer bound by human rules. Someone who can totally reshape destiny, rewrite fate, and decide the future of the entire world.